What is up, everybody? We are back in the building. Before we get started, please give me a 1 in the comments to let me know that you can hear me okay. We are streaming to YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. If you are watching from any of those respective social media sites, please let us know where you're watching, what platform you're using, and how you feel about the show. We will have a very interesting show today. Carmelo Anthony, the young scholar who murdered Austin Metcalf, will be tried as an adult. Black folks sent their money talking about they hope he gets a fair trial, yada, 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 yada. And at the end of the day, exactly what we thought and knew would happen to him happened to him. But we are going to get into that. And more importantly, we are going to get into the end of the street ninja fairy tale that so many black men, old and young, are still buying into and choosing to believe and opt in favor of, as opposed to using logic and rational thinking. Let's get this thing started with a quick video from the one and only Charleston White.
I hate that. That's what little boys do. Little boys join gangs, men don't. I was always told get with a broad. The old taught me you go get with a broad, my nigga. You go get with a broad. Why you with these running with a group of niggas? And all y'all doing is arguing and squabbling every day, talking about nothing, sports, getting high, passing the blunt, drinking, and can't nobody pay all the bills. And then if you paying all the bills, these gonna be the same group that's gonna set you up to get robbed. These gonna be the same group of and you die, one of them go slide over there and try to holler at your woman. These not gonna be no honorable man. These gonna be the same that'll get your daughter hooked on drugs or put that dick on your daughter when she get grown. So once you understand this as a man, they say when you know better, you do better. So how can I group with a bunch of homies and we're not effective? My question to the black man is, at what point do the black man get to grow up and be released from the hood obligations? At what point? At what point do the streets, the hood, the set releases me from these obligations, my nigga, that have guaranteed either jail or death? The hood done guarantees you either go to jail or you die. Why would I hold on to that? I hate that. That's what little boys do. Little boys join gangs, men don't. I was always told get with a broad. The old taught me you go get with a broad, my nigga. You go get with a broad. Why you with these running with a group of niggas? And all y'all doing is arguing and squabbling every day, talking about nothing, sports, getting high, passing the blunt, drinking, and can't nobody pay all the bills. And then if you paying all the bills, these gonna be the same group that's gonna set you up to get robbed. These gonna be the same group of and you die, one of them go slide over there and try to holler at your woman. These not gonna be no honorable man. These gonna be the same that'll get your daughter hooked on drugs or put that dick on your daughter when she get grown. So once you understand this as a man, they say when you know better, you do better. So how can I group with a bunch of homies and we're not effective? My question to the black man is, at what point do the black...
Okay, so Charleston White, I like to play stuff twice for those in the back who just have a hard time grasping things the first time around. But I had to bring up this topic to go in line with the situation revolving around young Carmelo Anthony. Unless you've been living under a rock, you are well aware of the situation that happened down in Texas where 16-year-old Carmelo Anthony stabbed 16-year-old Austin Metcalf. Both were football players. They went to two different schools. They were at a track meet, and Carmelo Anthony, for some reason, was sitting under the tent of Austin Metcalf's team. And Carmelo Anthony had been asked several times to move, to go sit with his own team, and was refused to do so. He was confronted by Austin Metcalf. Austin Metcalf allegedly pushed him, and Carmelo Anthony, for whatever reason, was armed with a knife, pulled the knife out, and stabbed Austin Metcalf in the chest, killing him. Now, African-American people, black folks, we did something that I don't think we've ever done in our history in the United States of America. We showed a mass support for someone who, if you have common sense, you pretty much understood that this guy was guilty. And we pushed this narrative that he was defending himself, and that if you even step on someone's toe, that gives that person the right and the authority to kill you. That's basically what black folks were saying. Oh, if you put your hands on somebody, you touch somebody, they have the right to kill you dead. We were saying that. And we sent over $800,000, according to some estimates. And instead of just saying we sent it because we support deviant, degenerate criminals, both in our own neighborhoods and in other states, other municipalities, we tried to hide behind this lie that we sent the money so that Carmelo Anthony would get a fair trial. Well, here's the thing. He is going to get a fair trial. He's going to get a fair trial while being tried as an adult according to the legal system of Texas. It's not looking good for this young brother. So, as we've done before, we've taken the losing side of the argument and tried to ninja rig it, as they say, and rationalize it with ridiculous assertions and just irrational thinking that's void of logic. I bring up Carmelo Anthony to bring up this. The days of the YNs, the days of the street ninjas, guys, those days are over. Those days are over. Since I've been going up to No Jumper, I've had the pleasure of coming in contact with many, many black males who consider themselves to be a part of this hip-hop / gang culture. And imagine my surprise when I learned that these Negroes actually believe in this crap. They believe that there's some type of sacred code between degenerates that is lived by and honored among what we affectionately call street ninjas or street niggas. They actually still believe in the no snitching crap. They actually still believe that if you do a crime with somebody and you looking at 1,000 years and they were the trigger man, You're supposed to sit there and take 1,000,000 years in prison based on some unwritten code of the streets that you're obligated to operate by. These guys are really dumb. These guys are really dumb. It's very shocking to me that you have black men over 18 years old, grown folk, 30, who still believe that this stuff is real. I have a message for you guys. Every single dude you call an OG, he'll snitch on you. If it's between you doing 50 years and him doing 50 years, he's gonna tell on your ass. As a matter of fact, he not just gonna tell on you. Bro gonna straight up lie on you to save his own skin and will be out of jail doing drugs, smoking weed, screwing hookers while you're sitting behind bars, wasting away, angry because you should have been the one that told first. I tell people all the time, like I told the bro this morning, I said, bro, I've lived this shit. You guys talk this stuff. You guys romanticize this stuff. You turn this stuff into a hood fairy tale. I've lived this shit. I've lived having a homie who was the hardest dude from the set, a straight up shooter, a squabbler, you know what I'm saying? Down the ride on the other side, charging the battle fearlessly. Turn out to be a whole snitch. Go to jail, get out of jail, come around the homies, set the homies up, get them indicted, all while working for the police. I've lived it. I've received the calls from my friends after they get arrested, telling me, bro, I couldn't believe that this Negro set me up. Bro, I read the paperwork. Bro, I cried. It hurt my heart to know that somebody we grew up with, who supposed to be my dog, sold me out on the first day after we got arrested. I've heard stories of dudes sitting in jail tanks, holding tanks, processing tanks, OGs from their hood come in the tank randomly. Oh, bro, what you in here for? Oh, bro, they got me on some little bullshit. They get to ask you about what you in here for. They get to ask you about what they charged you with. You tell them what they charged you with. They start asking you about whether you really did it or not. Couple weeks later, you find out that the holding tank was tapped. And that dude came in there as a registered informant for the police. He was sent there to basically question you off the record and trick you into confessing to crimes. This is really happening. And y'all sitting up here trying to play this dumbass game. Oh man, it's a street nigga, it's a street ninja. And then this dude just a regular ninja. Bro, street niggas are nothing. They're losers. They're bitches, straight up. I don't care how affected how offended you are. I don't care. I really don't. These street dudes, half of them gay, most of them snitches, and the other few that's left ain't really as street as they want you to think. You know, when I get young dudes who I know and they talking about these different dudes, I say, look, but can you follow them home though? See, because when I was in the streets, when I was hanging with my homies, some real killers, some real thugs, I could follow them home. I could find out enough about their life and their personal situation to know that I never wanted to be like them. See, because he's a thug and he's a gangster when he in the hood. He was a rider for the set when we out at the club or whatever. But then that man is going back to sleep on somebody's floor at night. Sleeping on a blow-up mattress at night. don't even got 2 nickels to rub together. Being the gangsterest, most hardest dude in the streets is all he got. He can't even help his mama pay the rent or put food in the refrigerator. That's the part that the so-called street ninjas never want to tell you. They want to give you the romanticized version, and it's so damn pathetic because I be thinking like, what is the romanticized version of being a street dude? What is there to romanticize about that? I already got people in the comments, all my friends is balling, yada, yada, yada. Listen, man. Either you a hood dude or you a drug dealer. Or you a dude working a 9 to 5. Pick a struggle. You ain't going to be all 3 of them. Because honestly, if you're a drug dealer, that put all the set and hood stuff, that goes to the side. Because you're going to work with whoever got the work. You're going to work with whoever's selling keys. Whoever giving you the opportunity to double up. So when you sell drugs, gang loyalty is BS. That goes right out the window. Which one are you? And my question is, living in this world today, where there are so many opportunities to make money legitimately, you got to be a little bit slow or something to still be out here trying to push the line of the street ninja. I mean, all you got to do is look around at the people who tried to live that life. You got rich dudes trying to be street dudes, trying to live a street life. People talk about Lil Durk, King Von. Lil Durk is the biggest bitch ever on earth. I'm telling you that right now. I'm going to go to Chicago this winter and in the summer, and I'm going to say this on the record. Lil Durk is the biggest bitch on earth. And you want me to tell you why? It's not because he's not tough. It's not because he's not hard and he ain't gangster. I never listened to a King Von song before last week. Never, ever. Never, ever. I literally said, I was driving home one night and I was like, you know what? I was driving from LA or something. And I was like, yo, let me check this King Von stuff out because I be on like these different Kaj G, because the street niggas, you know, are bitches. That's why. That's why. I'm telling you. They snitches, they hoes, and they punks. That's why. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why if you shut up for a second. They're punks. The real gangsters, they're all in jail. The real gangsters is out here taking penitentiary chances on a daily basis. Oh, they will try me. That's okay. That's okay. They can try me. But deep down inside, look, I don't run around like I'm the toughest dude ever. I don't strike that image. But I'm telling you, let me get to my King Durk point. Y'all niggas, shut up. Listen, Lil Durk. Let me tell you why I say that. So after I found out, I started listening to some King Von music. I said, you know what? This dude, King Von, bro got some talent. Bro definitely has some songs that I like. I like the song Ride, How It Go. I don't know all the names of the song, but I basically listened to the whole album of Welcome to O Block, right? Now, this is why I think this dude is a punk. So I started looking into how King Von died, right? The beef with Quando Rondo. This is what I do. I look at things and I base my judgment or conclusion on this stuff, right? So from what I understand, King Von and Quando Rondo got into it. They had some type of beef. So Quando Rondo is at some restaurant or club or whatever, and King Von approaches him and starts fighting with him. So they start fighting, and while they're fighting, one of Quando Rondo's homies comes around the truck and he shoots King Von, right? Now, after King Von was shot by one of Quando Rondo's homies, Quando Rondo's crew, they shoot, King Von's crew, they shoot the dude who shot King Von, and then the police end up shooting King Von, right? After King Von dies, he dies at the hospital. The dude who shot King Von goes to trial. The guy gets off, right? The guy who shot King Von gets off because basically the police admit that they shot King Von too, and it's more likely than not that the shots, the bullets that they put in King Von are actually responsible for King Von dying. The other guy is allegedly shot King Von in the lower extremities, like the legs, but the police shot King Von in the chest. Right now, Lil Durk is in federal penitentiary, federal prison, under charges that he did like a murder for hire scheme on the guys who did, who killed King Von, the black dudes. But once I learned about the story, I said, well, he trying to get, King Von has a song where he like, something about his funeral, and if they kill me, don't let them touch his casket. As soon as it's done, you better go slide. He's like, allegedly, those are words he's directing at Durk. Like, if they kill me, you better go slide on them, right? Here's my thing. We now know that the police are the ones who killed King Von. But the only ones who get to die, the only ones that Lil Durk and the rest of those clowns are brave enough to go slide on, are the guys who look like us. Think about that for a second. The police killed King Von. That's what the majority of people who are involved, including the police, believe. They believe they killed King Von. But you didn't go slide on the police. You went and slid on Quando Rondo's crew. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have slid for your homie if that's what y'all into. But shouldn't you have slid on Quando Rondo crew and the Atlanta PD? I'm just asking. And then we got the cowards in the comments. Who slides on the police? A nigga that slide. That's who. When I look at the real gangsters, the mob, MS-13, 18th Street, every other hood on earth, basically, the Asian triads, they slide on whoever slide on them. They don't say, oh, you a cop. The Shatas, all the real gangsters do. Not the Negroes you looking up to, the clowns. This fool gonna say, who slides on the police? The real gangsters slide on the police. You could go on YouTube and look up thousands of stories of people sliding on the police. Bro, 2 little girls in San Bernardino was literally getting down with the police. 2 little 15-year-old girls in San Bernardino, California was swinging on the police when the police was trying to break up a fight. This what I keep trying to tell y'all. These Negroes are not gangsters. They're not hard. None of that. They are terrorists who only terrorize their own people. People who look like them. People who look like you. People who look like me. But when it comes to any other group, they're scared. You had MS-13 right in Chicago. How many MS-13 members, how many Trende Agua members did O-Block or whoever's over there, I don't know the gangs, how many people did they slide on? How many of those dudes did they slide on? When they were coming into their neighborhoods, committing crime, pimping their women, robbing their people. How many? None. This ain't no nerd talk, fool. This is man talk. This is man talk. And this is why I keep telling y'all, any grown man who's still talking about he ascribing to street shit and hood crap, he's an idiot. Either he's gay or he's retarded. That's the only two reasons I could think of a bunch of dudes holding hands, kicking cans every day, hanging out musty up in some building or apartment, rapping about how they about to go murder somebody. The most fruitiest stuff ever. Y'all need to just come out the closet already. And it's really sad to see our people are still buying into this crap. It's disgusting and it's stupid. Lil Durk rolled on the black man who shot King Von, but was too scared to slide on the police officers who actually killed him. If I was King Von, I'd be rolling around in my damn grave. I would be rolling around in my damn grave. And even still, you got dudes who will speak dirt on some of these hood dudes' names. And it ain't no different in LA. The dude who killed Nipsey Hussle, he's still alive and well. Killed Nipsey, went to jail, still rolling, having a great old time. I'm telling you guys, there is no code to this shit. There is no honor among these people. These people aren't even loyal to their own family. Listen, bro, if you know what? You're an absolute idiot if you think you can gain loyalty or command loyalty from a man who don't even take care of his kids. If a man can't be loyal to his own seed, how in the hell is he going to be loyal to you? If a man can't be loyal to himself, how can he be loyal to you? Roland Curtis, oh, he got beat up pretty bad in jail. What the hell is that? He killed the best thing to ever come out of LA. Damn near, I think so. A grown ass man who got some money and started investing back in his community. He killed the best damn thing y'all Negroes ever created as far as rap. Oh, but he got beat up pretty bad. Y'all smoke a dude for less. That's where the nonsense comes to the light, my brother. You got gang members who done killed people over what color shirt they got on. And this dude killed the best thing to come out of Rolling 60 Crip. And y'all talking about, he did get beat up pretty bad. I knew you LA niggas was weird. I've always known that. These fools will murder you for trying to go see a girl in their hood. A little hood rat who done slept with everybody. Hey, cuz, where you from? But the dude killed a homie. And they talking about he did get beat up pretty bad. Come on now. Come on. Here's the difference. You're a coward. Because I say all this shit, then I got to go to no jumper and work with these animals. Y'all don't even got to be in those type of spaces. And then y'all like scared to say the truth. The fairy tale is over. The other groups are passing you up. You know why they're passing you up? Because you refuse to change. You refuse to evolve. You want me to tell you what's funny? When I was young, I was growing up, it was like Mexican gangs, right? Like cholos. Big old pants, 4 sizes too big. The Ben Davis Pendleton with the little monkey on it. You know what I'm saying? They call us monkeys, but they used to wear a shirt, clothes with a monkey on it, a gorilla on it, right? Funny. I mean, those fools were, they was gangster. I used to live in a little town called Colton, California, a little dirt town. You would pass it on the freeway and not even know you passed it. Man, there was a gang there called Northside Colton. There was 4 gangs. There was Northside Colton. There was South Side Colton, there was East Side Colton, and there was West Side Colton. And then in these little tiny apartment buildings, there was these black dudes. This city's 99% Mexican. There were this little apartment with black people in it. And in that building, there was this gang called Colton City Crip. Those Mexicans used to walk around. They be looking. Them fools would be walking. You know, they like to, back then, they don't do it no more. They'd be like, what up, fool? This big bad NSC or big bad. I mean, they was hard. They was gangster. They didn't give a fuck. They was Southsiders. Black dudes did their shit, whatever. That's whatever. But they evolved. You don't see Mexicans rolling around with that bullshit on no more. You don't see them even rocking Cortezes and shit no more. They evolved. Oh no, I'm not saying Colton is bad. Colton get cracking. I ain't got no disrespect to nobody in Colton. I live there. Everybody over there was down. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was over there was getting down. But the thing, what I'm saying is this. You know why you don't see the Mexicans acting and dressing like that no more? Because they evolved. They did the same thing that the white gangs did when they realized that the gang shit was coming to an end. The exact thing that the black man refuses to do. If you haven't been listening so far, this is what you need to hear. When the white gangs first came onto the scene in the early 1800s, they operated just like Negroes, just like black folks. They killed each other in the streets. They robbed people. They pickpocketed people. They fought with people. They would even attack police officers. They were vicious. If you ever saw the movie Gangs of New York with Leonardo DiCaprio and Daniel Day-Lewis, that gives a really good depiction of the first gangs of America and how they were white. And there were a few black people sprinkled up in there. When the mobsters came along, that was called organized crime, right? It was the gang's evolution. First, they were just street gangs doing low-level petty crime. Sometimes they'll kill someone in a conflict. Then they moved on to organized crime, right? There actually was a split. Some moved into brazen hardcore crime like bank robberies. That's John Dillinger, Babyface Nelson, those types of dudes. Bonnie and Clyde. Others moved into organized crime. That's Al Pacino, Lucky Luciano, Bumpy Johnson, these types, right? But as the law started to take a harder position on people who committed brazen acts of violence, the organized crime syndicates, they begin to separate themselves from the brazen criminals, the bank robbers who would murder people, shoot people up, vicious killers like Babyface Nelson. If you ever watch the movie Public Enemies with Johnny Depp, he plays John Dillinger. There's a scene in the movie where John Dillinger gets out of jail. He escapes from prison. And the reason he was able to get away with so many bank robberies is because he had a bunch of safe houses that were owned by the mob where he could go and hang out after he committed bank robberies. Well, in that movie, he escapes from prison. It's something that's called the wooden gun breakout, the wooden gun escape, where John Dillinger had someone in the wood shop make a wooden gun, and he used that fake wooden gun to convince the guards in the jail that he had a real gun, and they basically let him out of prison. He walked out with a guard at gunpoint. He pulls the wooden gun escape, and immediately when he gets out of jail, he goes and gets a car. He gets a car souped up by like the mob's like car guy. He made all the cars run faster so they could outrun the cops. Then he goes to one of the safe houses. But the mobsters would not let him in. And he says, why the hell can't I come in? And they tell him, well, we got orders from the top not to let you in anymore. You can't stay at these safe houses anymore. So John Dillinger goes to like the head dude of the mob. The head dude of the mob walks him into a room. And when he opens the door, there's a bunch of women and they're all on telephones. He said, how much did you get for such and such bank robbery that you did? John Dillinger was like, we got 600,000. He said, what you get in a bank robbery, these phones are making in an hour. Basically telling John Dillinger the mob was now going legit. They were going into legal forms of making money. That marked the end of the bank robbing age, where you had people going into banks killing folks. After that, John Dillinger gets killed. Babyface Nelson gets killed. Pretty Boy Floyd, another famous bank robber, gets killed. Bonnie and Clyde get killed. And basically the era of the bank robber ends. That's what's going on with Black America. You just don't know when to quit. Your time, the street shit, it's over. You just don't realize it yet. And what the Hispanic did different from us is they did what the white boys did. The white boys left the gang stuff behind and they started going into the unions. They started going into the police departments, the fire departments, the longshoremen stuff where they bring the cargo in. They went legit. A few of them were able to get into these different fields. And they said, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the homies in. I got a gang of homies doing bids in prison. But these are the type of jobs the homies can get once they get out of jail. You could go do 20 years in prison for murder. Come out in a week, you could be hired at the docks, making $150,000 a year. You could go to prison for 15 years for murder, get out, and within 2 weeks, you could be working at the carpentry union or the pipe fitters union or the welders union. They went and took over the industries that they could control and provide opportunities for their friends who were riding with them when they were in that lifestyle. The Mexicans did the same thing the white boys did. They went legit. And now if you want to go get a job at a union in the West Coast, you know who you're going to have to talk to? I'll give you one guess. You want to be a carpenter in California, Arizona, Washington, New Mexico, Colorado? Guess who you're going to have to talk to? You're going to have to talk to some Mexicans. They're going to be at the top of that. They saw that the days of the Cholo were coming to an end. And so now they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And now their kids are the ones who are the little gangsters wearing Jordan, saying the N-word amongst each other and making drill music. But here's the difference between their kids and your kids. Your kids are doing that with no other option because you ain't got nothing to give them. These kids are doing that knowing when they get tired of that street life, man, I'm going to just go do construction with my dad. I'm going to just go do welding with my dad. I'm going to just go work down at the longshoreman union with my dad. They evolved. They said, we not out here gang banging for hoods no more. We not out here stabbing folks and shit no more. Man, we out here making this money. And when they start making all that money, you know what the next evolution, you know what the next step of the evolution is? They went into politics. Now they got Negro politicians working to let their cousins in the country illegally and give them citizenship and let them take your jobs. They evolved, my friends. Excuse me. And you can't be mad at them. They evolved and you didn't. Only the black man is still running around talking about, oh, it's a difference between hood dudes, street dudes, and squares. What's the difference? What's the difference? Everything that exists in the street life exists in the square life. You got snitches in the square life. You got homosexuals in the square life. You got dudes that's afraid to throw a punch in the square life. You got dudes who are afraid to get cracking in the hood life. There ain't no damn difference. There's literally no separation. The only difference between a street dude and a square is that one is a bum and a degenerate and the other one got some sense. That's it. That's it. One sees that things are changing and the other one, they both see that things are changing. One gets with the time and puts something in motion. The other one refuses to accept the truth. They live in denial. They can't see that everyone around them is passing them up. They can't see that the same Mexicans they used to beef with in the 80s and the early 90s are now bosses making $200,000 and $300,000 a year with politicians on their payroll, and they can make everything bad for you. And that's exactly what they do. It's so funny when I look at black dudes going to jail. Why you want to go to jail in California? Oh, this and that. Bro, you're going to get punked by those Mexicans. They outnumber you. The guards are majority Mexican. And who do you think those guards come from? See, just like the white boys, the Mexicans went into the police department. Did you know that LAPD is 93% Hispanic? Bet y'all didn't know that, huh? LAPD is 93% Hispanic. And if you go talk to those dudes, you know who they come from? They dad was a cholo. They dad was a member of 18th Street. They dad was in MS-13. They dad was a Lone Go. They grandpa was in whatever lowrider group, whatever. They still got their hoods. They still got their loyalties. But now they're legit. They have a badge now, which gives them a license to lay your ass down with impunity. Do you know what impunity means? It means with no consequences. You sitting up talking about, oh, the police brutality and they racist. No, they're not. It's still your hood against their hood. They just now have the authority to whoop that ass and not go to jail for it. You guys love to talk about how somebody getting special treatment and the government let them do this and that. The government don't let these people do a damn thing. These people see what time it is and they get on code. The difference is between you and them, you ain't got no code. The little bullshit you think is a code ain't nothing but a set of rules that make you more susceptible to getting scammed by grifters and con artists. That's what the black code is. The black code is give money to Negroes like 19 Keys and Alicia Keys and Tariq Nasheed and Umar Johnson and all this type of nonsense. That's the only code about that exists among black people. Give your money to scammers. Don't do anything for yourselves politically. And make excuses every day you wake up to justify why you won't do what everybody around you is doing. And blame other people for your problem. LAPD ain't no damn 50% Hispanic. I promise you that. Mose, you can believe what you want to. LAPD is 93% Hispanic. If you know anything about LA, they love doctoring up numbers. That's one thing that politicians and law enforcement in Los Angeles do well. They doctor up numbers, bro. I will challenge you. Come to LA. Find a cop that's not Hispanic. Of course, I've heard of Black Beverly Hills. It's turning into white and Mexican Beverly Hills, though. But what I'm saying is, these people, they see the way which way the winds of change are blowing, and they're getting with it. They're turning their sails in the direction where they could catch the wind and go. Black folks on the internet still talking about who's the street nigga. You still jump on the internet on the internet, YouTube, a damn learning tool. You still jump on there to see who 4 Extras gonna crash out on this week, or Red Pill, some dude dancing around acting like a damn buffoon. You just gotta be some type of monkey for these people. Y'all take pride in that. As a matter of fact, if you go somewhere like No Jumper, You know, you guys can blame Adam. Adam's racist. He's not the racist. He's giving you ninjas what you want, what you demand. You put somebody like me on there talking, y'all won't even watch it. Y'all won't even watch it. He could put Umar Johnson up there in 3 days. Umar might get some traction the first day or the second day. 3 days, Umar views gonna be down at 100 or 200 people watching. Because if you can't get it there, you're gonna go get it from somewhere else. That's the beauty of the algorithm. What you see is a reflection of what you want. It's a perfect record of what you desire. Go look at your homepage. Go click on your homepage right now. Go on YouTube or wherever, Instagram. Go click on your homepage right now. And that's in that homepage is going to tell you exactly who you are. See, because you could lie. Men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie. And that's what the algorithm is. It's numbers. Numbers do not lie. I click my homepage. I'm on my other phone. I click my homepage. First thing that pop up, damn, I fucked up. Dang. First thing that pop up, doggone it. Before this, it was first thing that pop up is Brandon Tatum with Jason Whitlock. Right? If y'all can see that. First thing that pop up is Brandon Tatum with Jason Whitlock. My phone screen is dirty. Please forgive me. Okay, that's the first thing that pops up, right? You know what I'm watching? What's the second thing? Greg Foreman. Greg Foreman's the second thing. What's the next thing? Some dude named Dubs talking about Tony Lane's getting killed. The next thing, Thomas Sowell. Thomas Sowell, the next thing. RFK Jr., the next thing. Mark Lamont Hill talking about Trump. You know what I'm into. You know what I'm watching. But you want me to tell you the common theme among all the stuff I watch? All this stuff is people trying to figure out how to get black people on the right path. Everything I watch is about people begging the black community to wake up, smell the damn coffee, recognize what's going on around them, and adjust accordingly so that they can prosper. You might not like the way Brandon Tatum does what he does or says what he says, but you know what? You know he's coming from a good place. He wants to see us doing better. You might not like the things that Thomas Sowell says, but Thomas Sowell is coming from a place of facts, logic, rational thinking, and he wants you to do better, right? He wants you to do better. Everybody I listen to, Greg Foreman, all these people, they want black people to do better. And they are not only delivering the message, they are living the message. They are the message. Look at the success that they're having. Look at where they're going. I mean, even me to a lesser extent. Shit, y'all would give y'all left arm to be on no jumper. I'm at no jumper all the time. Never really planned on doing that. But when you start acting like you know how to act, doors start opening for you. And if all you do is act like a damn coon and a buffoon, the doors that open for you will eventually be closed to you. Because nobody can act like an animal forever. Even a dog got to go to sleep at night. So why even live a life where you can only be who you're trying to pretend to be for a couple of hours or a few minutes, and then you go back to your regular life, but all the buffoonery that you've been involved in is coming back to bite you in the ass? You know, you got all these dudes in jail, Big U, Big Baby, Crip Mac, and all these dudes. I feel sorry for those dudes. I feel sorry for those dudes. They call in, they make a good face, they put on a good face for y'all. Man, those dudes are freaking, they are in the depths of hell right now mentally. I hate to break it to you, but most of them are not getting out no time soon. I don't care what they tell you on a phone call. You could hear it in their voice. But these are the people who you Negroes cheer for. Yeah, we want Brick Baby back. We want this person back. Why? So they can make you feel better about being a loser? So they can make you feel better about being a drug addict? You got to do like Lush. This man is a drug addict, admitted. You got black folks and crackhead Mexicans in the comments cheering for this dude. Yeah, put him on. Why? Because you live a destructive lifestyle. And in order to live in a destructive lifestyle, you need to constantly be comparing yourself to someone who's doing worse than you. That's the only way a person can consistently live a destructive lifestyle. If they have somebody else who they can look at and say, yo, this person is doing worse than me. Even on the movie New Jack City, remember Pookie? Pookie was a crackhead to the core, but he kept that little lady around him because she was the only person who was doing worse than him. She was the person he could bully and punch down on and say, oh yeah, you get high more than me. You smoking the same dope I'm smoking, but you're worse off than me. That's what these audiences are. Either that or you're a sadistic person who is successful and you want to watch people like you watching an ant farm or like ants with a magnet on them. You like watching them squirm and act out so you could laugh purely for entertainment. This is the only community where people who are doing well wish they could be in a position of people doing worse than them. Because it looks cool and that person is more socially accepted. I'm looking at this dude, Adam, right now. Well, not right now, but he was over in New York. He might still be there. Adam was in New York with Red Pill. And, oh, it's all the Bloods and all this stuff. And I'm like, Negroes was, back in the day, Negroes used to work their ass off to get out of the projects. Now white boys go join a bunch of Negroes in the projects celebrating like they just landed a $1 billion deal. Yeah, Adam will come down there to celebrate poverty with you as long as he get to leave and go back to his mansion and you get to stay down there in the Patterson projects or wherever they are. I'm looking at these dudes like, are you serious right now? These dudes are celebrating being in the hood because a white guy showed up. This is the part that absolutely boggles my mind. Black people are losing on every front. We got all these problems revolving around our identity. Negroes want to be Indians and everything else. And I understand why. Because who wants to be a part of a group that claims to be the best thing since sliced bread, but can't even figure out the simple stuff? Like, yo, we need to be infiltrating some industry. And the funny thing is the white man has literally laid industries that you could take over at your feet. You do know that, right? You do know that industries like Uber, Airbnb, you do know those things were aimed at black people. I just want you to know that. All that hospitality stuff, that was aimed at black people. Why? Because black people were constantly complaining about being discriminated against racially on the job. So when these white guys, thought of these ideas like Airbnb, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Uber, Lyft, all that stuff, Turo, they have black people in mind. They thought, look, man, we're going to have tons of workers to do these types of jobs because you got a whole segment of our population who is constantly complaining about being treated unfairly and being racially discriminated against on their job. They literally created a whole industry where you could work at your own pace. You don't got to worry about getting hit for showing up late. You get to make your own hours and you get to work without having somebody looking over your shoulder. And do you think black folks is the most people doing these different hospitality and delivery jobs? Hell no. It's some of us out there. But most of us would rather go work at the same jobs we say we get discriminated against on. Many of us would still like to ride the welfare system. It ain't a person on earth who's going to make more getting welfare than you could make doing Uber or doing Instacart or DoorDash or one of those. Those are jobs where you can make triple what you're getting in the welfare check with minimal effort. But the reality is we don't want to change. We want things to stay the same as we continue to just go lower and lower down the economic and social scale. See, when things change, that makes us uncomfortable. So we don't want to keep things the same because they're working for us. We want to keep things the same because we just don't want to be uncomfortable ever. Roland Curtis, you said it, the gig economy. And I promise you, the gig economy addresses every single thing that black people used to complain about in the traditional workforce. I promise you. Dude, you got fired because you was always late. Well, you do Instacart or Uber, you can't be late. You literally turn it on when you want to, and you turn it off when you want to. Oh man, my kid's got a birthday today, or they got to go to the doctor, or they're sick. Well, Bonquisha, this thing, you don't even got to press the button to turn it on if you don't want to today. Oh, kid's sick. All right, I'm not going to do Uber today. I'm going to just chill at home with my kid. As technology advances, as we continue to make more and more technological advancements, more and more will the true mindset of the black man and woman be exposed. The degenerate element. Because some of us got it together and we're just like trying to move on. But the problem with us is we can't stop looking back. We can't stop looking at the people who we once called brother and sister, the people we used to hang around with. We can't stop looking back and telling and wanting better for them. But it's like my granddaddy always used to say, you can't drag a corpse across the finish line. These people are walking around like zombies. They're operating like the Walking Dead. They're moving around, but there's nothing really going on upstairs. And yet you're steady trying to drag them across the finish line, blocking your blessings, missing out on the opportunities that are presenting themselves to you. Keep letting them come stay with you. Keep on loaning them money that you really ain't got. Keep letting them get on your phone plan. You're going to have to stop. You're going to have to stop and let them hit rock bottom till they're so low and worn down, they have no choice but to admit that they were wrong and that it's time to make a change. It's like a dope fiend finally kicking the habit. They ain't going to kick the habit until they hit rock bottom. And even when they hit rock bottom, they might still keep trying to smoke. It's not until they get down to their lowest point that they're going to say, you know what? I think it's time to make a change. See, people say, there's so many people out here who have such a heart for people. They'll do anything for people to keep their feet from touching the ground. But you know what Les Brown say? He say, if you fall, try to land on your back. Because if you can look up, you can get up. Some of these people you just going to have to let fall and pray that they land on their back. Family members, childhood friends, acquaintances, ex-boyfriends, ex-girlfriends, even y'all kids, even some of our kids. You're going to have to let their feet touch the ground so they can stand up and walk for themselves. And once they start walking, it's only going to be a matter of time before they start running. The street ninja, the street nigga shit is over. And you look stupid for trying to keep it alive or play by those rules. Bro, you a gangster with a job. You ain't no gangster. You're an employee. You're a worker. You in the middle class. You in the middle class, you ain't no gangster. You might be tough. You might be hard. You might be willing to get cracking, but you ain't no gangster. See, being a gangster is a full-time job. Being a gangster is a full-time job. There's no part-time gangsters. I promise you that. Because if you're a real gangster and somebody walk up to you on your job and they pull out a gun, what you gonna do, gangster? I got homies that's, from the hood. They over here driving garbage trucks and city trucks and all these different water trucks and all this mess, making all this good money, 6-figure salary, making $150,000 and $60,000 a year. Yeah, they hard, they tough. They used to be gangsters, but now they're workers. Because if it comes between them being gangster and them losing that job, you know what they're going to do? They're going to say, all right, gangster, I'll see you at another time. So why even make it hard on yourself? Why keep throwing this burden on our people where they got to try to, where you're trying to connect their desire to have the things they need and provide for their family. You're trying to connect that to how tough they are and how respected in the streets they are. You got Negroes that are black working at Facebook and YouTube and TikTok. They from LA. You say something to a man, I'm from 129th and Crenshaw. Like, nigga, shut your bitch ass up. Get your ass back in there and get to computing, nigga. You left that life behind. That ain't no freaking measure of who's a man or who's not a man. Anybody could be ignorant. You want to be X4? You wake up in the morning like, I want to be just like X4. No, all that shit tattooed all over your face and all that type of mess. Y'all would never want to be these people, but then y'all try to hold everybody to this standard of ignorance with these people. Are you dumb? Are you dumb? Stop doing that. Because you doing what you're supposed to do can have a greater impact on the lives of those people than you sitting up trying to follow behind them, when in reality, you've long surpassed them. Long ago surpassed them. You got fools that are doctors and lawyers watching No Jumper. What, are you trying to get your fix? It's like a drug for you. I mean, watch it when I'm on there. But the other stuff, But I'm just saying, that's got to be the most backwards ass way of thinking ever. Ever. The people making the money over here watching the people who ain't got none. In normal society, the people you watch on TV, they're people who make way more than you. People with a unique set of skills, a talent that is not easy to master, right? That's why you like shit like basketball. Only now do we sitting up in the Palisades, but we over here watching shit that's happening in South Central. You look goofy. You look goofy. And then you wonder why your community looks the way it does. You wonder why your community is unsafe. You wonder why as soon as you get a little bit of money, you get the hell out of your community as fast as you can. Because the ignorance rules the day. You don't rule it because you don't want to. Because you fight and you strive for success, but you lift up and celebrate ignorance. You go to school to get a doctorate, but you would rather go watch somebody rap a drill song about killing another black man than go down to the symphony or go down and watch a play or go down and watch something that will increase or add culture to your life. That's why. You don't make being good or being successful cool. You make that look lame. You got dudes, you're a square. Dude, I will slap the shit out of you, square or not. Bro, come on now. We all saw the movie Jason's Lyric. The hardest dude in the movie got his ass beat by a nigga that sold TVs. Do y'all hear me? We all saw Jason's Lyric. The hardest nigga in the streets got beat up by a dude who sells TVs. V's. And that's true. That is an accurate representation of the street, of the hood. I seen it. I seen dudes who didn't even bang whoop niggas out who thought they was so gangster. You can't be that hard if you're that gangster. If you come, look at King Pill and 4 extras. If y'all fight so good, go to UFC and make y'all some millions. Get from up under Adam and go to UFC or go get in somebody's boxing ring like 600 and make you a quick 500,000. That's the true measurement, not this freaking I'm the king of the nerds bullshit. You'll never be hard to me because the hardest dudes I've ever met, they out there fighting and making money, getting paid millions for their toughness. Chuck Liddell, old washed up mumbling ass. Now, one person that no jumper could beat up Chuck Liddell. Even in the current state he's in, fat as hell and can't talk. So when you talk about, oh, I'm tough, then get the fuck out of here. I don't want to hear that shit. You might be tough in your own mind, but if you're tough, go prove it. Go to the local MMA gym and beat up everybody. Maybe they'll make you the sensei and you could bring in a check without being buffoonish. Let me get these super chats. Shout out to my bro, All Gas, No Brakes. At least now the race hustlers have been disarmed. All hope of Democrats using this case as momentum for midterms has dissipated. The mainstream media will start avoiding this like hot shit. My boy All Gas No Brakes always coming with the dope commentary. Thank you, my brother. Facts. Mr. Ifelua, my brother. Salute, bro. I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you for the $10 holler. And I'm going to enter both of you guys into the raffle. Guys, we're having a raffle. If you contribute $5 or more, you are entered into the raffle. I have this little book at my side so I can write the names down. I will be doing the raffle drawing on my birthday, July 25th. And if you donate $5 or more, each $5 increment will give you one entry into the raffle. So Mr. Ifelua donated $10. He has 2 entries in the raffle. So his name will be put in the raffle bucket 2 times. And All Gas, No Brakes donated $10. So his name will be entered into the raffle 2 times. So anybody else who contributed anything, you will be added to the book of life, as I like to call it. You can contribute via Cash App, PayPal. Those links are pinned to the top of the chat. Or you can contribute via Super Chat, which is at the bottom left-hand side or right-hand corner of your screen. And either way, you will be entered into the... Oh, shoot. Also, shout out to my girl, Michelle. She shot me $10 on Cash App. So I have to enter her as well. Michelle in. She's in for 2 entries because she shot the $10 holler. So here goes the list of names. It's still not that many people in here, so you got a chance to win. And the gift is going to be an awesome custom-made leather backpack from a company that custom makes luggage for me called Rift Africa. It's beautiful stuff that they're making. My boy Sticks and Stones just copped some merch from them. And I'm actually going to go out to the motherland, get that made for you, and bring that back and then ship it to you. So if you want something dope, you have a chance to win it. But anyway, so back to what I was talking about. So yeah, this guy, Carmelo Anthony, he's cooked. Carmelo Anthony is cooked. That guy is getting tried as an adult. We all knew what was going to happen. But instead of accepting things for what they are, and instead of acknowledging the truth, we instead choose to play this stupid shell game, the Negro shell game, where we know exactly what's going to happen, but we pretend like we got amnesia or things are going to be different. Things are going to change based on the way we feel. I'm going to write a really angry post on Facebook, and they're going to stop doing things the way they've been doing it for hundreds of years. Who's dumb enough to actually believe stuff like that? That's my only question. Who's dumb enough to actually believe stuff like that? We are a special type of sometimes we are a special type of stupid. But I want to kind of reset this. I want to let you guys hear what my boy Charleston White had to say, and we'll probably end up playing this twice because there's no thing to like take it back at all. So so I'm letting it holler at your woman. Da-da-da. I'm just letting it play a little bit. All right.
So once you understand this, the black man is, at what point do the black man get to grow up and be released from the hood obligations? At what point? At what point do the streets, the hood, the set releases me from these obligations, my nigga, that have guaranteed either jail or death? The hood done guaranteed you either go to jail or you die. Why would I hold on to that? I hate that. That's what little boys do. Little boys join gangs, men don't. I was always told, get with a broad. The old taught me, you go get with a broad, my nigga. You go get with a broad. Why you with these running with a group of niggas? And all y'all doing is arguing and squabbling every day, talking about nothing, sports, getting high, passing the blunt, drinking, and can't nobody pay all the bills. And then if you paying all the bills, these gonna be the same group that's gonna set you up to get robbed. These gonna be the same group of when you die, one of them go slide over there and try to holler at your woman. These not gonna be no honorable man. These gonna be the same that'll get your daughter hooked on drugs or put that dick on your daughter when she get grown. So once you understand this as a man, they say when you know better, you do better. So how can I group with a bunch of homie and we're not effective? We're not. My question.
So we sit and we listen to dudes like Charleston White, and we find reasons to hate on dudes like that, whatever reason. But the reality is, dudes like Charleston White, they figured out that these dudes are just all talk. They've learned the truth. These guys are only have power because people are actually dumb enough to believe the act that they put on. You ever saw that movie Wizard of Oz where there was like the cowardly lion, but he would try to scare people off by acting tough, or like the wizard Oz himself. He had this like fearful image, this scary image that made people think like, oh my God, he's great and powerful. But then when it all came down to it, he was just a scary old man hiding behind a curtain. That's what you're seeing right now. Everybody gets to rewrite history when they're the only person left. If all your homies is locked up, doing life in prison, or dead, getting gunned down in the streets, well, the little pussies, the bitch ass niggas, they're the ones who get to they get to rewrite the history. Bro, 58, 60, telling you he the hardest dude ever. Oh yeah, because I did this and did this and did that. But if you go back and you really ask somebody who was there, they'll be like, who the hell is that dude? That dude used to be up in his house and mama wouldn't let him come outside. But he gets to write the history. He gets to tell the story because he's the only person left. And we're dealing with a lot of that in our community. But people know the truth. Right here, look at this. Look at these comments. These comments alone tell you that we understand. When does the black man get to grow up? People hate him because he speaks the truth. I vote for Charleston White for next president. Jail, death, or a lifetime of adolescence. And that's what you see in situations like what happened with me and dude like Almighty Suspect. You just have someone who is in arrested development. The guy peaked in high school and never gained the tools to live like a man, to behave like a man. So he goes into No Jumper every day looking for the opportunity to create a minstrel show for clicks and views so he can retain his employment. Oh, I'm so crazy and I'm so gangster, but I'm not going to hit you because I don't want to lose my job. Then you ain't crazy and you ain't gangster. And that's really the only thing I really exposed at that place. Clearly, you're not as gangster as you say you are, or as you think you are, because you got enough sense to say, I'm not losing this damn job by hitting nobody else on camera. But the reality is, if you were truly gangster, you would have never been in that situation, because you wouldn't be jumping on people like little ass Kelpie or jumping up in the face of little ass women like Jaleese. You were never a gangster. And it's a lot of people up there like that. I give everybody respect off rip, upon initially meeting them and stuff. But guys, if you can't look at that situation and tell there's a lot of bull crap being said and a lot of fake tough guy image being projected, then you're just ignorant. You're just ignorant. I don't go in there trying to act tough. But when people come at me like RXK, the fucking whatever, I want to fight this dude. I'm like, look, I ain't going to put up with people talking about they want to fight me and they want to do this and they want to do that for too long. At some point, you're going to have to do what you're saying you're trying to do. If you're not, all right, bro, just shut the fuck up. Like I'm sorry. That's my attitude about it. But I'm not going to be up there letting people pull my strings like a damn puppet, doing what they want me to do. Here's another comment. He can be a clown sometimes, but damn, he do be saying some real shit, some real stuff sometimes. We never get released. Once you go in, there's no running from that, no matter where you go. That's a lie. That's a lie. See, this is a type of stupid crap where we give these idiots in these gangs too much power. Bro, most of these fools ain't never even been out the country, let alone the state that they live in. You move to the next city, you're pretty much good. You move out the neighborhood, you're good. With most of these gangs, they don't even leave. They're like 3-block radius. I be in the 60s all the time. I have yet to see somebody from 8 Trey Gangsta over there. And they literally like 3 blocks away. These guys are just stuck in a mental prison of streets and stoplights and stop signs. The hood wants you to be like them, which is to have nothing. This go over a lot of people's head, right? Sad to say, but when he gets money and moves out the hood and completely detaches himself from where he grew up, that's right. That's what he's going to have to do. When you square up and step away from the game with no looking back, he's so real for this. You got to release yourself from the trap. Now, this idiot, I totally disagree with the comments that all the hood does is produce death or incarceration. I'm a product of South Central LA. We could tell. Look at how you look. Yeah, demo queen. Yeah, Trinice. I'm very successful and educated. Yes, there are things that take place due to lack of opportunities and marginalization. You mean marginalization? Even our schools lack certain academic courses. I don't like the way he tears our race down. See, and this is the ignorance. Instead of tearing us down, offer up a solution. She's dumb. She says she's educated, but she reflects the mindset of a lot of people in the hood. These people think that if you talk about a negative element of the Black community, you are all of a sudden tearing down Black people as a race. That's how you know she's not educated. That's how you know these Negroes are looking for a reason to get offended. She's telling you about how shitty the schools are. She's telling you that she'll never live there again, but at the same time defending it. So you're admitting it's bad. He needs a history course on slavery and why our race faces certain challenges. No, he doesn't. You need to learn how to understand what he's saying in context. She in her statement, she's basically admitting that everything he's saying is true, but that she just doesn't like how he's saying it, or she doesn't like that it's being said. And that's what you deal with these so-called educated people. They know it's true what you're saying, but they just don't like the fact that you're saying it. She just wants to silence him, talking about he needs to tear us down with solutions. Hey, you idiot. If you had a solution, demo queen, why don't you go implement it and fix everything? We as a race are not allowed to buy homes in certain neighborhoods. It's called red light. This is such bullshit. I can't stand these old redlining Negroes. When somebody complains about redlining, all they're saying is that they're mad because they couldn't move away from the same black people they claim to love and care about. You complaining because the white man made you stay around the people you claim to love? That's like being a 40-year-old person who mama take care of everything for him and he got a job and he complains saying, my mama won't let me move out. Yeah, you got everything you need right here. Plus you could save your money. Why would that be a complaint? The reality is these people can't wait to get away from the hood. They wanted to get out of the hood so bad that when the white man was forcing them to stay amongst their own, they got mad. They marched in the street, got beat up and killed so they could get away from each other, get away from the YNs. And now all of a sudden, when Charleston White speaks the truth about the situation, they want to come like they're an advocate of the same hood that they couldn't wait to get out of. It's called redlining, but I thought you loved the hood, so why would you be mad? It's because the white man wouldn't let you move out of it. You need to support the hood. No, they want to romanticize the hood, and they want to deal with the hood at arm's length. See, you know you got that family member who you fuck with them, you cool with them, but you like, I never invite them to my house though because they steal stuff. Or like, you mess with them, you chill with them, but you cool with them, but you're not going to invite them nowhere important because you don't want them to embarrass you. That's these type of people. The hood right there, you love the hood so much, go in the hood and go put in work. Go create a organization or something. They'll never do it. They defend. It's like a woman defending their abusive baby daddy. You're constantly complaining about him, but then when someone else says something about him, even if it's something you told him about him, you want to try to jump up and defend him. It's just the most ignorant way of thinking ever. But the black woman, she got hers. She got hers. Her lies have stacked up to the heavens, and she has been fully exposed by Donald Trump. See, because you remember, and I got this video too. Y'all need to go watch it. It's posted. It's a pre-record. Black women went against Donald Trump. They went against law and order. They went against rule of law. They fight every day against, the preservation of black life. They fight every day against the black community making real progress. By voting Democrat, voting for people like Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, who sit up and perpetuate and fund the destruction of the black community and the destruction of what's left of the black nuclear family. And you know what Donald Trump did to him? He snatched up that Section 8, baby. He snatched up that Section 8, baby. See, that's what happens to you when you all hopped up and pumped up on your own, thinking you just too good. You lose in the end, and you lose big. Now, we the most educated, and this and this and this. Yeah, good luck when your rent's not $13 a month. Good luck flossing on everybody when you ain't got no Section 8 voucher where you pay $200 on $4,000 worth of rent with the government paying the rest. Why you calling the black man lazy and good for nothing? Let's see how equality really works out for you. True equality, not government funded or government sponsored equality. True equality. True equality. They get to see what that feel like, baby. I'm telling you, Donald Trump has single-handedly saved the black family. Because you know what black women do when they ain't got no money? They start looking for a man to come pay for stuff for them. He solved our problem with a stroke of a pen. I bet you they get some act right now. I bet you when they staring down at that $3,500 rent and ain't no Section 8 coming to pay $2,900 of it, I bet you they get some act right. $100%. Cookie lover, 100%. My girl, that's the problem. When you don't understand God, everything else will confuse you. Now, I know a lot of us are like anti-religion and all that stuff, but I'll be real. Many of us need that. Many of us need that structure in our lives. A lot of our people don't know how to operate without that type of structure in their life. I'm going to just keep it a buck. A lot of our people do not know how to operate with that presence in their life. Go ahead, 80. Go ahead, Ja. Hey, we put the link in the comments. If you want to come up, you can go ahead and click the link.
Hey, Brandon.
Yo, what up?
Man, I just wanted to say, man, I'm kind of a little proud of you, man, recently, man. You ain't hitting 100%, but you're getting there, you know? Because I saw that Adam 22 No Jumper interview with you, and you started out kind of good, man, and you kind of went off the rails a little bit, brother.
With the white supremacist dude?
Yeah, when you and him, you guys got to a point where he's like, man, we agree with each other, essentially, you know? I'm like, damn.
You're just ignorant.
But it started out good, man. You were hitting, man. But then once you started going to like seeming like you're kind of leaning towards black supremacy, essentially.
No. Oh, you mean when I was leaning towards black supremacy, like saying I'm better than white people and all that?
Yeah. That's when you lost it, right there, man.
I wasn't leaning towards no damn black supremacy.
I know what you're saying, but it came off like that. So I think you would have been better if you'd made an argument of modern science says black and white, all human beings are the same. We have the same ability. Modern science says that.
But
so
modern
the only
science
difference
doesn't say that.
comes in at other issues, like other variables, like society.
But I did say that. I did say that.
Okay, I missed that part. I haven't really watched the whole thing yet.
Right, you're just ignorant, John.
I'm about halfway through. I got to finish it out, you know, but I was rooting you're doing well, man. And then right there, man, you kind of, I'm not saying you know, and then you were talking about sources and stuff, and you're bringing numbers in, and I'm like, okay, man, Brandon, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, you know.
Man, listen, man. At the end of the day, you're gonna have to make it interesting for people. And if you're gonna sit there and say racially derogatory shit towards me, I'm gonna throw some low blows too. Why not? That's the arena that he likes to play in.
I mean, that guy seemed pretty laid back, though, in all honesty.
Man, yeah, because that's how all white supremacists seem these days.
Yeah,
they're not walking around. They're not walking around with Klan masks on no more, Ja.
Yeah, but the funny thing about it, even that whole thing has changed in a way, because if you look at the leader of the Proud Boys, he's not a white dude. If you look at Kanye West, he got a whole song talking about, you know, hail the beard man, you know. So
I don't have any problem with the Proud Boys. Like, that's the thing. Like, with me, I say what I believe, not what black folks think I should say, because black folks change their opinion every 5 minutes. They'll be like, oh, this wasn't cool on Tuesday. And then on Saturday, oh, man, this was great. Like, if you live like that, you're not even living. You're just a slave. I'm not going to be a slave for the white man, and I ain't going to be a slave for the black man. I ain't going to be a slave for the peanut gallery, especially.
Yeah, all I hope is that we are slaves to the truth, you know? We just get the right information. Because whatever your subject you're dealing with, there's a better way and a not so good way to do it. So hopefully, and it's complex, man. So hopefully we find the right answer, you know? But yeah.
My thing is like this. People can hold me accountable for the way I said something, or you could have said it like this. those same people will defend a YN with a switch, shooting up the neighborhood, talk about, oh, but you got to understand why he's doing that. It's just Negro ignorance. We can justify any negative thing. People will justify Carmelo Anthony stabbing this white boy in the chest, but then come at me calling me a coon because I said something that they don't agree with. And I can't even talk to him. I can't even be around him because he said something I don't agree with. That's just the way it is. Like, that's the way it is among our people. Like Charleston White says, we have no conflict resolution skills.
And that stuff could be true, but the thing about it is we all are wrong on something, you know, so we gotta be able to identify where we're off too, you know what I mean?
I mean, I guess, but the whole thing was, it was a debate. I was getting fact checked. Adam was there, the white dude was there. I took that debate because some other idiot challenged the white guy and then didn't show up. So they just were like, yo, can you debate this guy?
Nah, good for you, man. I don't blame you doing it at all. You know, I mean,
at least I didn't end up like Tariq Nasheed calling the white guy brother and kissing his ass like he did when he got destroyed by Jared Taylor.
But this is the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, these arguments, when they get challenged, even by white supremacists whose arguments are weak in a lot of ways, right? Then they kind of fall down because you gotta go to the science of things. You know, these arguments have been around a long time. You know what I mean? Prior to black people, even after the civil rights movement getting certain rights, people were saying white folks and white supremacists were saying all this bad stuff was going to happen, and none of it really materialized. And so that shows the argument.
What you talking about? The Lions is shooting up the neighborhoods and shit.
Yeah, but even at that, you got to look at this. You know, I mean, even if you look at violent crime in the United States compared to the 80s and 90s and even 70s, is way down.
Man, that's a lie, bro. I mean? You actually believe that?
If you don't want to believe it, I mean, I looked at LA. LA, I think in the 80s or 90s had 2,000 murders. LA, and now LA is down to 500, and the population of LA has increased.
And this is what I'm telling you. That's bullshit. Okay. LA is more violent than ever. And the way they do that is they artificially manipulate the numbers. If the police don't respond to a murder and they just sit in the corner, they don't mark that down as a murder. They just say, oh, that's a death. My friend is a detective. He actually called into this show. He literally told me, he said, it's all about how you report it. If you get shot on 89th and 89th and Central, right? And you get killed and somebody call the police and the police say, well, that's not our district. That's the LA County Sheriff's District. You call the LA County Sheriff's, hey, somebody got shot over here. They say, oh, that's not our district. That's the LAPD's district, right? Okay, when they both deny you, you just going to call and say, hey, y'all, it's a dead body over here. They're going to say, oh, okay. They're going to send a coroner down there, and the coroner going to pick it up, and the coroner is just going to say, okay, it's a death. Then they're going to say, okay, he got shot, but he really died from COVID. That's what they do. They were doing that for car accidents and everything else. Like, bro, I'm telling you, like, these people are artificially manipulating the numbers. I got a friend just last night. Somebody got their head blew off in the alley right behind her house. Bro, crime is up in LA. People getting robbed, people trying to drag people out of carjack. Bro, when I was younger, you didn't see people getting carjacked in LA. You didn't see people freaking getting people get shot and stuff, but you didn't see this brazen crap you're seeing these days. Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass, they are literally not responding to reports of crime. And I did a show on it. Where the people up in the rich areas was talking about they calling the police and the police showing up 8 hours later and they don't even want to write a report. Am I wrong? Am I making that up?
Well, I mean, I don't want to stick on that point. I'll go with the numbers that I see until you can come up with some data that shows.
Right. And this is what you're saying. You're saying until you could come up with some data. Okay, all I can go off of is all the people who are like, bro, this happened to me. The police didn't come for 3 hours, and when they came, they didn't want to write up a report. So if they don't write up a report, you do realize it's like the crime never happened, right?
So if this is that's anecdotal, but if you want, you could find like a LA Times article or something that says, hey,
the LA Times is in on it. The LA Times is
okay,
in
well,
on it.
find me a Attorney General of California. Find me Attorney General of Texas reporting that they did this. Find me a federal document saying that California is doing this. Find me some kind of a source. Find me something from England that says that America is misreporting crime. Find me something, and then I can ride with it.
What I'm gonna tell you, is you can simply look on YouTube and literally just look at the crime that's happened on a daily basis. 15 hours ago, 17 hours ago, 1 day ago, 4 days ago, 2 days ago. Like,
so Brandon,
every day you're
crime doesn't happen.
You said crime is down.
That's what I said. Not that it doesn't happen. Of course, crimes happen, but it's down from the 80s and 90s. It's not as high as it was. That's my point. Violent crime. And the other thing is, I can't really go off what people say just off willy-nilly, because there's a lot of arguments that we make, and I would make them that things are better. For instance, I could say, and I agree, that things are better for Black people right now than they were in the 50s. A lot of people are going to disagree with me on that. I would say things are better for the United States since World War II on all kinds of metrics. A bunch of people are going to disagree with me on that. But I can show you the numbers that prove what I'm saying is right. And I need to see the numbers on the other side. If we talk about the United States after World War II, rebuilt Germany, Japan rose, China rose, South Korea rose, Europeans rose. Most nations in the world are doing better. And
I'm gonna show you this right here.
The richest country in the world.
I'm gonna show you this right here, because this proves my point basically.
All right, go ahead.
That what you're saying is kind of like is very ignorant of the facts. This right here is an article by Newsy. It's a video. They're talking about how thousands of police departments across the country stopped reporting crime statistics to the FBI. So when you're like, show me the Attorney General, show me this, that, bro. That's what people like Donald Trump are saying. They're not reporting the crime. So they'll keep saying crime is down, crime is down. The government doesn't get any information to verify those things because they're not reporting. Okay, I'm gonna just play it.
Yeah.
An uptick in shootings in Akron, Toledo, and Cincinnati.
Across the nation, murders have soared since the beginning of the pandemic.
Heidi was shot and killed.
Charged with killing the couple in December of 2017.
But Newsy has discovered thousands of America's police agencies have, for now, stopped reporting crime incidents into the nation's premier crime database, the Uniform Crime Report. And it's hampering efforts to understand why the murders are up.
That's going to be harmful in crafting effective policies to reduce violence.
Josh Sugarman runs the Violence Policy Center, and he depends on the normally very complete FBI crime data to make policy suggestions to curb gun violence. But he says with so many police agencies now dropping out, will deal a big blow to reports like this one that compare things like violence against women from state to state.
This information isn't just egghead data that gathers dust in some researcher's shelf. It has real-world implications. It reveals the types of weapons used in Black homicide victimization, in Latino victimization, and tells us what's the relationship between victim and offender. Where are these attacks happening? What's the age of those who are being victimized?
In the fall of 2020, the FBI told Newsy that it would get tough with a deadline and stop collecting information on every crime that took place after January 1st of 2021 from any of the many local agencies, such as the NYPD, that had not transitioned to its new online crime reporting system called NIBRS. Back then, the Bureau forecast a 75% participation rate from the nation's police agencies by the end of 2021. But this week, the FBI acknowledged to Newsy the participation rate stands at only 62.6%, or far below forecasts. And just look at the resulting data loss. Nearly 16,000 agencies in the U.S. reported crimes to the FBI back in 2020. Today, Updated numbers the FBI just released to us show only 11,920 police agencies remain. That's nearly 4,000 police agencies dropping out.
It was simply a mistake for the FBI to require local agencies to abandon the system they had been using for decades.
Rick Rosenfeld is the past president of the American Society of Criminology, and he says loss of so much information about crime across the U.S. is especially troublesome for 2021.
We're talking about a year in which there's widespread concern and quite sound evidence that homicide rates in particular, but also gun violence rates more generally, went way up.
The FBI blamed the lower than expected participation in NIBRs on technological challenges and loss of agency personnel to complete the transition. And the FBI tells us that it did make a no-cost NIBRs reporting solution available to local agencies last April. But apparently, far too few have signed up.
This is
Now, the FBI is telling you, okay, they're not reporting data to us for whatever reason. So how do you know? These Democrats, they want to stay in power. They want to make their constituents think, oh, you might be getting robbed every night, but you know, overall crime is down. How do we know that without the unbiased FBI data system? See, because we're still talking about Democrats or Republicans. And one of the things that has been proven is that Democrats and Republicans, they're willing to do anything to stay in power, including but not limited to fudge records. So you said produce something from the LA Times. Well, the LA Times has been reporting on this since last year. Crime stats disappear from public view amid LAPD, I think it says records system overhaul. But here's the thing. They haven't reported crime statistics to the FBI since 2020. So how can you confidently say, oh, crime is down? You just want to believe that.
All right.
But there's really no numbers to prove it because no one's giving anybody any proof of this shit.
Okay, so thank you for finding a source. That's great. Now,
I found a video. I found LA Times like you asked.
I mean, it's still a source.
Listen,
I mean, we can read that article.
Listen, I found LA Times like you asked. There's a bunch of LAPD crime data still offline. Site has been dark since March.
Right,
LAPD releases, then they try to release the 2024 end of crime statistics. But how do we know? Where's the vetting system? Where's somebody to say, okay, this data was corrected accurately. Everything was for the most part reported. Man, there's a bunch, there's even on Reddit, thoughts on decreasing crime rate. And then they're talking about they're in New York City and LA, they haven't been reporting crime. Like, this is common knowledge. Like, it's to the point where the white folks, the ones who vote liberal, they're starting to complain because they're getting robbed. And the police, somebody posted this, The Professional. I can't speak on murder, but I do security. And when the crime happens, the police get called and don't come. They call back in 3 hours and ask if they are still needed. If you say, well, no, the criminals already ran off with the goods, you know what happens? A police report is never made. You know what that means? The crime is never counted. It's never recorded. So yeah, crime will be down if you stop responding to it. That don't mean crime is really down. That just means you're not responding to a lot of crime. So it appears to have gone down. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get your point. Now, here's the thing. Thank you again for looking up some sources, and all those sources that you've posted so far, if you notice, they have a time, right? And the time is from about 2021, 2020, right? And so prior to that, even crime rates have been down from the 80s and 90s. So then you'd have to go find something back then now to say, hey, what you're saying is wrong, right? And so the other thing is the unified crime reporting that the FBI was using. They changed it apparently January 1st of 2021. I don't know if it's by act of Congress or what the reason was for the change, but that still, that's when Trump was still a president at the time. Actually,
I want to show you this. I want to show you this. California. This is the Public Policy Institute of California. Crime trends in California. California's violent crime rate rose somewhat in 2023 and remains above pre-pandemic levels. Homicides and some other violent crimes have been declining. So
yeah, but what I'm saying is from the 80s and 90s. So you got to find
okay,
data from
it's
that
lower.
point.
It's lower than the 80s and 90s, but a lot
So
of that.
that's my point. That's my point.
But do you want me to tell you?
There was an increase around COVID and all that.
But do you want me to tell you why that is and how they fudged the numbers with that? They fudged the numbers with that because they decriminalized a lot of drug crimes, and they decriminalized a lot of things like jaywalking.
No, I
loitering.
said violent crime. I said violent crime. So we're talking about assault, murder, rape.
Well, here's the thing. You can reduce a sentence. I mean, reduce a violation. Like, I know a guy, he beat up his wife. They reduced that. That was a felony, what he did. They reduced that down to a misdemeanor. You know, they got situations where two dudes get in a fight. That used to be like creating a public disturbance, assault, all this stuff.
Right.
Now they're like doing like mutual combatant stuff. It reduces. They're just changing the language, bro. The crime is not going down. They're changing the language around crime.
And by the way, I said in the United States, and if I look at the LA numbers, if I'm remembering them right, LA at one point in the 80s or 90s, whatever it was, had like 2,000 murders, and now they're down to 500. And I think the population of LA has gone up. And so murder is a hard thing to fudge. You know what I mean? I'm not saying
murder you can't mess around.
So this
you can't mess around with murder.
So that even is down in LA, but I'm saying crime in the United States is down. And the Universal Crime Report, they did some change, and that's why they're reporting. Even the article you just showed me a second ago from the LA Times or wherever, saying that they removed this data from the website. The data is still probably available because you have our Freedom of Information Act and things like that, where you can go and ask governmental institutions for information. They have to provide it to you.
Yeah, but if they're not giving, but
it's just not on the website. It's not as easily accessible.
But if you read, if you listen to what we just discussed, the government is even saying that the cities are not reporting the crime to them. They're not giving them anything.
Right,
so
but that's like 2021 or 2020. So
dude, that's a long time. That's
but what I said
years.
Still holds. Violent crime is still down from the 80s and 90s.
Listen,
that still holds.
What I'm telling you is
maybe even if we exclude those numbers, let's exclude those numbers. It's still down. That's what I'm saying.
Listen, the point I'm making is there's still crazy amounts of crime happening. We can say, oh, the numbers are down. That's not making you feel any safer walking through the hood or walking downtown at night. The point is the police are not responding. They're not really enforcing the law like they're supposed to. And that makes a dangerous situation for everybody. You got people doing smash and grabs. You got people looting stores, all this stuff. Oh, you know what? Society's going to shit, but at least murders are down. No, bro, like you can go to Africa and there ain't a bunch of murders. That doesn't mean that everywhere you go is safe if they have a damn genocide in the next country. Like, I don't play that. That's like, I keep calling that a shell game. Hey, we're going to use these statistics as an excuse not to address this problem. We're not doing that. We can see the crime in real time on social media. And it needs to stop. You didn't see shit like that happening in the 80s or the 90s.
Bro, you saw murders were to chase his way back before the internet.
Murders were up, but people could still walk through Beverly Hills in peace without getting their chain snatched. Am I wrong?
I mean, like, I'm just holding to what I said.
I get it, but murders were up, but you didn't have people getting robbed on Rodeo in broad daylight.
I'm just saying, I feel like, I bet if I go back to the 80s and 90s, you'll find reports of all that.
Hell no.
You see what I'm saying? Now,
crime was pretty much relegated to the hood. Now the criminals didn't win Hollywood. They in Hollywood.
Well be the case, man. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, I'd have to look at that. But the thing is, man, like, I feel like, we talk about victim mentality. And I feel like I'm starting to think that a lot of us, as human beings.
Somebody said teenagers stealing out of 7-Eleven, big deal. No, teenagers taking over and raiding entire 7-Elevens and gas stations, stealing everything, breaking, destroying the place. That's what we're dealing with. Like, that's what I'm telling you. You just got some people who would rather try to stick their head in the sand and pretend like they don't see it until it's them.
So, Brandon, my argument is not that we should not police crime, that we should not arrest people. I think we should arrest people at higher rates, particularly for violent crimes like murder and stuff like that. I think our correct conviction rate should be a lot higher, and that will deter it. That's why I believe that you're going to see another reduction in crime even further, because now the feds ain't playing around, man. You look at what some of the guys they're going after in the rap game that even got money and stuff like that are getting hemmed up, and this stuff's been happening, I would assume, from the 80s and 90s with the rappers and stuff. They had money and was doing stuff from way back, I bet. And so now you're going to see probably even further reductions because some of these funding and some of these opportunities decrease, but so I'm not making an argument to say don't police crime. I'm just saying I feel like, we talk about the victim mindset, and a lot of times I feel like we can see when someone else has the victim mindset, but we can't see when we have the victim mindset. You know what I mean?
Man, listen, all I'm saying is that's one thing Black people do really well is minimize things. That's why our neighborhoods look like they do. Because 10 people get shot, it ain't no big deal. It'll be all right. That's Patty Lee boy over there. They just out there cutting it. That's what Black people are experts at doing that. Minimize. And then it gets so acute, we have no choice but to accept it. Then what we do? We run off. We move away. Some person, kids raiding 7-Eleven, big deal. I guess this is just a bunch of kids raiding 7-Eleven, huh? I guess there's just a bunch of kids raiding 7-Eleven. It's not a big deal. These people are shooting. These kids are shooting people. Stop trying to minimize stuff. Stop trying to blow it off like it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. They got a whole time of the year where they say Violent Youth Crime Week in Chicago, where everyone knows the youth come from the hoods and just commit violent acts against tourists and stuff. That's not a big deal. 7-Eleven food is killing us. What the hell is wrong with you? I see Brandon busted something like someone's light out. Tell light out with the police. But yeah, of course. And then the professional got common sense. Stealing from the 7-Eleven is no big deal until that store closes down and takes all the jobs with it. And now you have less options, like the Walgreens leaving my hood in East New York, Brooklyn, old people's meds. Yeah, or like Walmart leaving certain areas in Chicago, Safeway leaving certain areas in Oakland. See, that's our mindset as Black people. We like Ja knows better, but he'll just keep perpetuating these ignorant Democrat narratives because it makes him feel better. Like it allows him to sleep better at night. It's not as bad as you think. Let him get carjacked. This fool gonna be over here. I can't believe they did that to me. I could just see your ass now.
So, Brandon, I'm not making an argument. I don't know why you're trying to pin it on me, man. I'm not making an argument that petty crime, violent crime, all that should not be investigated and prosecuted and jailed or whatever to the fullest extent of the law. That's my argument. They should be convicted because when you have convictions, you lower these rates further. That's why I said I think murder rates are going to come down even further now that even the rappers with their money are getting popped too and getting taken to trial. I think this type of stuff is what you need to even reduce it further. All I'm saying is it's come down already and it can come down further. I think it's going to come down further. And that's fine with me. I'm not making an argument to say, I'm just saying sometimes we got to take a win, bro. Like, if something's going in a good direction, you got to be like, hey, this is going in a good direction. Let's keep it up. You know what I mean?
Listen, when the black man can walk through his own neighborhood without being at risk of getting gunned down by a YN, then we'll take a victory lap.
And I think that's the case in a lot of places. And to be honest, because I even looked at the stats in New York. New York is way down too compared to the 80s and 90s. So that means walking through the neighborhood now is safer than it was in the 80s or the 90s.
Well,
that's all I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Hey, you know what? Since crime is at an all-time low, why don't we all take a field trip to Oakland?
Security, because
the kids is just stealing out of
frustration and disbelief. A gas station in Oakland raided by dozens of robbers. The owner says police are not responding until several hours later.
Things has to be fixed somehow. Things has to be the citizen of Oakland has to have some security.
Thankfully, no one working in that store was hurt. So,
you know what, sir? Overall crime is down. In-N-Out, first closure of an In-N-Out store in the history of In-N-Out in Oakland. Why? Because crime. Let's tell In-N-Out, you know what? Overall crime is down. This is bullshit, John. You know it.
so far, no arrests have been reported. Good evening on this Friday. I'm Christina Rendon.
And I'm Christian Captain. It all happened early this morning on Hegenberger Road in Oakland. New at 10, KTVU's Amber Lee spoke with the gas station's owner about what happened during that robbery and the changes he now says he wants to see. Right, Amber?
That's right, Christian. The owner tells me he's sharing his story and sharing the surveillance video to let everyone know how bad things have gotten, and he's demanding action. Surveillance video shows a brazen flash mob style robbery of the 76 gas station mini market on Hagenberger Road in Oakland. It happened early Friday morning around 4 o'clock. Dozens of people ransacked the store. Owner Sam Marday tells me the free-for-all lasted about 40 minutes.
This is the hardest thing you could ever go through, you know, especially if you've been putting sweat and tears day in, day out.
This 24-hour business was offering only window service during the overnight hours. But Marday says the thieves broke in through the front door while 2 employees were inside.
You can see the shattered glass right here. This is the way they entered.
He shared this video of the damage left by the thieves. They emptied shelves and display cases of merchandise, along with cash totaling $25,000 from the register and the ATM that had just been filled for the holiday weekend. Marday says he and his family had just taken over this business last August.
Building yourself for the last 10 months, and then you're back to square one.
He tells me he is aware that this area is a hotspot for thieves because of its proximity to the Oakland airport, and travelers are considered easy targets.
I did not think it's this terrible. I thought maybe once every blue moon.
Marday suspects the thieves are people who participated in a sideshow in the area. He says police did not respond to the robbery until almost 9 hours later.
It's very disheartening. I'm scared to go out after dark, and I don't know. I just it's alarming.
Well,
no, ma'am. Don't worry about it, because Josh said crime overall is down. This is what I'm saying. It's the stupidest. Wait, hold on. Let me read this comment. Somebody said, "This is what the bottom of capitalism looks like." Just more bullshit excuses. These kids are rolling around in cars that are souped up. These guys are rolling around in $50,000, $60,000 Chargers. They said that it was a sideshow first. If you know what that is, all these guys with all these expensive cars doing donuts all in the street and shit. Then they'll pull into the gas station like to go get gas, fill up, whatever. And they'll say, hey, let's just ransack this motherfucker. These people aren't poor. These people aren't living in poverty. These are entitled ass Black and Mexican kids who are just out drunk, high on drugs, pills, cocaine, doing crazy hood rat shit in the street. And then they have a random idea, let's rob this place. And then they all descend on the place and rob it. I love that excuse. This is what the bottom of capitalism looks like. These kids are living at the top of capitalism.
Well, I can't make a determination as to their socioeconomic standing, but I could say that if they did that, they should be arrested and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And they need to do whatever they need to do to correct these issues. You know what I mean? And I personally think that it's a lot of it's a mindset. I would agree with that 100%. It's like, you know, just thinking of yourself and not other people or something like that. You know, like you said, the guy put his work in and did all that stuff. So, I mean, I'm all for doing that, but that does not negate the fact that violent crime is down from the 80s and 90s. You know what I mean? So that's a win. Now, the other thing is I just looked up another stat there, and it's saying that, because I was making an assumption too, that poverty is down from 1959. The poverty rate among Black people was 59%. Now the poverty rate hit the lowest ever in 2022 at 17%. And so even that number has come down. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's still issues. That's what
I'm saying, but we're still blaming poverty on why these crazy crimes are happening.
But remember now, violent crime has come down. So maybe because of the reduction in poverty, that might have happened. I don't know.
Bro, most poor people can't even get near the airport.
And I'm assuming, by the way,
if you
that
go to
theft is down too. I wouldn't be surprised if not only just violent crime, but petty crime is also down. I wouldn't be surprised.
The thing is, if you go to any major city, the criminal element usually is nowhere near the airport. They're like, the airport's usually in like a out of the way place where the criminal element doesn't really go. I mean, let's be real. These people are at the airport doing this. These are people with cars, man. These are people with transportation. They're probably going by the airport because there's less of a police presence around there, and there's more empty streets at night. I'm just saying.
I've been to the In and Out by Oakland Airport.
You ain't going there no more because they closed it down.
Yeah, and I think that was, if I'm not wrong, that might have been the only one in that area. I think
they closed it down because these fools was robbing people. Like, you pull to go through the drive-through, these fools run up to your window and rob you. You park your car to go inside, they busting out your windows, going in your damn back seat and in your trunk to get your luggage out. What Brandon don't understand, some of us was YNs. Listen, man, I was a YN too, and I ain't do no stupid shit like that, bro. That's just that is straight up degenerate behavior, bro. I've never stolen anything from anyone. Go ahead, RF.
Man, your guest makes every excuse in the book.
Every last one.
He wants to set the bar so low, he got to go back to the 1980s. Like, how low of a bar do we have to go to? Oh, it's crime is down since the 80s. I'm in Northern California, and these YNs are out of control. To me, you got to authorize lethal force against these people. You got to authorize that owner should have just shot right through that window and took about 5 of them out, and the rest of them would have came running. These people are out of control. It ain't no socio-economic. Hell, I was poor, but you wouldn't catch me going in no store doing this kind of stuff, and they do it all the time. They go in, look, if you see them in Walgreens, they just go with their hair bonnets on and they fucking garbage bags, emptying out the shelves. The people be saying, please stop, please stop. You got to blast them. You got to blast these fools. I'm telling you, I want to authorize lethal force against these motherfuckers. Oh, I'm sorry, I cussed.
Hey, RF said I didn't have it. He in the belly of the beast right now.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. In-N-Out Burger, gone. The only one. All these stores, it was a black restaurant. The only black-owned restaurant in Oakland that recently closed, high-end restaurant for black people. They came and shot that man, black-owned. He had to close his store because of these YNs. You got to.
What's it called, Pierre's?
It's something like that. I forget what it's called, but the guy was so disheartened, man. He was on the news like, yeah, you guys did it. You got what you wanted. He was like, I'm so, the only black-owned restaurant in Oakland, that's of a high caliber, and you guys just shut it down. Authorize deadly force. That's what Trump need to do. Authorize. Gavin Newsom ain't gonna do nothing. They ain't gonna do nothing. They gonna let these people just run crazy, and they're bad parenting. Their parents probably robbing the stores with them too.
Probably sending them.
Yeah, probably sending them. So lethal force all the way. Kill them.
We winning. Go ahead, my brother.
Man, the Bay Area is so bad. Y'all lost all the sports teams. Y'all lost the Raiders. Y'all niggas lost the Raiders, the Warriors, the A's.
No, we ain't lose the Warriors. The Warriors are still here. And the Giants. The Giants is here. The 49ers are still here.
And
so
they moved across that damn bridge. They don't come to Oakland no more.
I'm telling you.
No, the 49ers, they got the name, but they are in San Jose. But actually, the Warriors moved to San Francisco.
Man, brother, stop cleaning up for
the Warriors moved to San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
So the Giants are
in San Francisco. The Giants are in San Francisco. The Warriors are in San Francisco, and the 49ers are in San Jose. And who am I missing? The Oakland A's are in Oakland still.
They in Vegas. They about to move to Vegas.
Are they? I don't know.
They about to move to Vegas.
Ridiculous.
They about to move to Vegas. Respectfully, bruh. The Bay Area is worse than LA when it comes to mismanagement. That is a world record. You lost.
Man, I can't agree with you on that one. I cannot agree. I've been to LA. I live in the Bay Area. LA is.
You think LA is way worse?
I think LA is worse, man, because I go down there sometimes on LA is worse. I'm just like, Oakland is probably as bad as LA, but I would say LA is worse than the Bay Area, if I'm
Now,
just being
brother
honest.
RF, I gotta ask you a question. What is in the psyche of a lot of these brothers that keep voting blue, where they'll argue down about some Trump while they in like DEFCON 4, ground zero, where they at in the Bay Area? I don't get it. How black men can still stomp the yard for the DNC. When you
They
look at
want
their
benefits.
lifestyle, they more conservative. I don't get it. And these is brothers that don't do no crime, still caping for this shit. I don't get it.
Well,
I don't get it.
Well, somebody said, I hate to say it, but I wonder if they were right about it being in our DNA. They're not right, because black people didn't always behave this way.
No.
Black people were the most peaceful, law-abiding members of society right before the 1960s. And Thomas Sowell said it best. All these entitlement programs and crap that they introduced in the 60s saw the slow descent of black people into the criminal world. We became, the criminals back in the day were white. They were the bank. Show me a black bank robber from the 1950s.
The mafia, all that stuff.
It was white. They literally made us the criminals they incentivized us going into crime through the entitlement programs.
Well, and then look what they did here in the Bay Area. They shut down the big projects, and they start putting these projects in the middle of where the white folks is at, and they still horrible people in the projects. I mean, if you go down here in Oakland and in San Francisco, you'll have a project in the middle of in the middle of a white neighborhood. And you can tell that they're there because, I mean, they actually look nice with what they built for them, but they still just got that mentality, man. It's like I said, the parenting is bad. It's a generation of parenting that just did not parent their kids. And it's just being passed down from generation to generation of bad parenting.
What I'll say is, when they say, somebody, Happy Mess said, many sub-Saharan Africans have always been warlike people. Yeah, but they were warlike people when they dealt with other people. They didn't go back into their own communities and do shit like what these people are doing. This is engineering. And I'm telling you, it starts and ends with the criminalization of the parents. When they made it a crime for parents to discipline their children, that was worse than drugs. That was worse than gangs. That was worse than anything, because these kids are operating.
Let me ask you a question, Brandon. When you were growing up, the kids that you knew, did they get beat?
Hell yeah.
Okay. When you were growing up, were parents harsh with their kids, like curse them out and stuff like that?
Let me tell you, I'm going to tell you, the kids who got their ass whooped, they were not doing crazy shit. The kids who were doing crazy shit were the kids whose parents would cuss them out, but they wouldn't touch them.
Another question, by the way, who do you think whoops it in a...
Hold on real quick. Like my friend John, this dude is dead now. His mama cursed him out. You mother, da-da-da-da-da-da. But I never saw her hit him or nothing. But he was a product of the streets. He was the kid who was out. We 8, 9 years old. We riding bikes and stuff. We got to go home. Street lights on. He making fun of us because we got to go home because the street lights on. Back in the day, you had absentee parents. And most of those kids were the ones whose kids joined the gangs and stuff. What's the common denominator? Absentee parents don't discipline their kids, just like the parents today who have been stripped of the ability to discipline their kids don't discipline their kids.
Well, and let me tell you, most of them live with their grandmammy, and their grandmammy getting old and they beating up on the grandma. That's
or
the thing.
just not listening.
Not listening. It's a whole generation of black kids that didn't grow up with their quote unquote parents, and their grandparents raised them. And their grandparents got old at a certain age, and the kids just, once you get old, you don't have the wherewithal to be that figure of just one grandparent, a grandma trying to raise their, it's crazy. And let me ask you a question. What is the most popular black networks that are on TV right now, like TV or apps?
BET, Zeus.
Nope.
Tubi.
No, BET and fucking Now That's TV. Two hood rat. They two networks that popularized this hood rat mentality of all these black people and women just on TV fighting all the time. All they do is go on the live just to fight.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's what black people watch. So look, the parents' job is to correct. But when you got the kids in a position where the parent can't correct, parent can't use corporal punishment, parent can't ground the kid. I'm telling you, people think that when I say discipline, they think I mean just beating on your kid. No, bro. You can't even send your kid to their room these days.
Right.
You can't even tell your kid, look, you're going to sleep without dinner. None of that. That's all trauma-inducing, and they'll take you to jail for that.
And did you know Zeus Network is taking their trash over to South Africa now?
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
They taking their trash over to South Africa now. Can you believe that? Man.
Yeah, I believe it for sure. But guys, look, I'm gonna get out of here. This has been a great show. I appreciate all of you coming up here, sharing in the giving commentary. We approaching 2 hours. That's a bit long. We're gonna clip this show up. We're gonna make some shorts. Hopefully, I don't get killed by some YN for saying Little Dirk is a bitch or whatever. You know, they love that dude. They want to go to the feds to hold hands with him. So they might make me their sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, don't kill Brandon, man.
Yeah, don't kill Brandon. But listen, guys,
and don't kill the YNs without due process either.
Yeah, the YNs.
No, they gotta go. No due process. No due process. Shoot through the door.
Damn, you taking away that Constitution, man. That's
I don't care about it. You look. I don't care if that was my door. I'm shooting through it. I don't care.
You can shoot if you're self-protecting yourself.
No protection. No, I'm protecting my business. I'm protecting my business.
Officer needs to investigate crime.
9 hours later, right? Yeah, right. Not by that time, my whole business be gone.
You're fine to do whatever you got to do. I already said that.
Anyway, all right, Brandon.
All right, man.
All right, see y'all guys later.
Listen, man, I'm gonna leave you guys with a famous quote from your boy Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin said, "Without continual growth and progress, such words as improvement, achievement, and success have no meaning." The Black community is going to have to embrace growth. Embracing growth takes accountability. It takes discipline. And most importantly, it takes the desire to want to be better than every day than you were yesterday. Till the next time, take care of yourselves, but most importantly, please take care of one another. Peace.